I think we're ready, so we'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand for a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming, and happy holidays, everyone. Want to have the roll call?
Yes. Mr. Girardi?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Hansel?
Here.
Mr. Sias?
Here.
Mr. Poole?
Here.
And Chairman Gray?
Here. Proof of publication.
These matters were advertised in the Tampa Bay Times on November 29th and December 5th, 2019.
Okay, we have no minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
approve.
Yeah. Just wanted to recognize I'm here too, Hayden.
Oh, you're in a different seat. Okay. Did you get that?
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'll let it slide.
You give us a pass, huh? Okay. Okay, so we're the Planning Commission, and we meet here twice monthly. We serve as a local planning agency, and we hold public hearings and transmit to the Board of County Commissioners recommendations on comprehensive plan amendments, land development code amendments, rezoning, and conditional use requests. Planning Commission is the final decision-making body for special exceptions, certain appeals, variance requests, and certain alternative standard requests. However, final decisions may be appealed to the Board of County Commissioners. If anyone is in opposition to any comprehensive plan amendment, land development code amendment, rezoning, conditional use, or any item where the Planning Commission transmits a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, it's important for you to attend the appropriate Board of County Commission meeting. For those of you who are not familiar with the meeting, how we go with handle the meeting, we have really three sections: continuances, consent agenda, and regular items. We have a very brief meeting, it looks like today, and I think, do we have everything on consent today? I don't have the paper.
At this point in time, everything is on consent. There might be, when I call PC2, there might be someone who may want to speak on the item.
Okay. So we don't have any requests for continuances. We do have consent items, and we potentially have some regular items. So the applicants will have 3 minutes to make their presentations. Anyone who has questions would have 3 minutes to ask questions. And then the applicant would have an opportunity to come back up and answer those questions. So I don't think we've had a request for extra time.
That's correct.
Okay. And so this is a good time. If you haven't done so, it's a good time to put your phone on the silent position. I'll do the same. And before we start the meeting, this is the time for public comment. Is there anybody here for anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, I see no one. So if you plan to give testimony today, if you please stand and raise your right hand. Are you sworn?
Do you swear or affirm that your mouth it will be the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think we're ready.
Are you going up and presenting? Oh, you're Good afternoon, Planning Commission. Denise Hernandez, Planning and Development Department. On this item, item PC1, you're sitting as a local planning agency. Item PC1 is a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, CPAL 2001 for JDR Investments. It's a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map 2-15 and sheet 16, changing from ROR, retail office residential, to IL light industrial on approximately 10.17 acres located on the northwest corner of US Highway 98 and Old Lakeland Highway. It's item PDD 200068. Today, we're asking you to find this consistent with the comprehensive plan and recommend approval to the Board of County Commissioners.
All right, is the applicant present? Anyone here to object? See no objectors? Okay. Is there another one on consent?
The other one on consent, you're sitting as the Planning Commission.
Okay, so we'll
On
do
that
that
item.
separately, or you want to do it at the same? David?
I guess go ahead and vote on number 1 just to be safe.
All right. So do we have a motion to approve the first presentation?
I'll second.
Did we have a motion?
I'm sorry, he did while you're talking.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Further discussion of the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Item PC2 is PDD 20CU13 in the name of Gulf Landings Association. It's a conditional use for additional parking for a civic club in an R4 high-density residential district. It's located at the northwest corner of the intersection of Barefoot Court and Seagull Drive, and the recommendation is approval with conditions as included in your packet. You may want to call for public comment so that if there's any public comment, I could do a full presentation on the item.
Okay, is the applicant present?
Yes.
Anyone here to object? Is there anyone here to object? Okay, is there any reason you'd like to have it pulled, or you want to leave on a consent?
I was wondering if there was someone here to provide any type of public comment on the item. If there isn't, okay,
Okay.
okay.
And I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you want to question the applicant or the,
He can go first.
okay. Would like to
Did
come
you want me to
forward?
do a full presentation and then have the applicant come up, or?
That'd be up to the applicant, whatever they'd like to do.
Yeah, yes, I represent the applicant.
All right.
All right. So this item is PDD 20CU13. It's for additional parking for a civic club in an R4 district for the Gulf Landings Association, located in Southwest County, Pasco County, on the northwest corner of Barefoot Court and Seagull Drive. It consists of vacant platted Lot 10 of the Gulf Harbor Sea Forest Unit 2 subdivision. This is just showing you that Chapter 500 zoning standard, Section 517, R4 high-density residential district specifically calls out additional parking for civic clubs as a potential conditional use. This is just showing you the surrounding zoning to the north, to the east, and to the west. It's R4. It's all part of the Gulf Harbors subdivision. To the east is Barefoot Court, and across the street is the Gulf Landings Recreation Center, and I'll show you that a little bit more closely when we look at the aerial and the surrounding area. Oh, and to the south is Seagull, and I apologize, it's going the wrong direction. To the south, it's Seagull Drive, and also the landings at Sea Forest Apartments. Surrounding land uses to the north, east, and west are Res 6, and to the south is Res 24, which is consistent with apartments in that higher density. This is the showing the access to the property, Seagull Drive and Barefoot Court. As you can see, and I'll show you in something that's a larger representation, this is the existing parking for the tennis courts and for the clubhouse, which is up here due north of the parcel. And this will be for additional parking for when there are events at the clubhouse. The applicant has provided information which is in the narrative that basically states that the clubhouse has capacity for approximately 120 folks. And currently the parking that you can see here is only for approximately 25 cars. So apparently there's a gap in the need for parking. Here's a closer view of the subject parcel, the subject request, the existing parking, the tennis courts, and the clubhouse. And there's also a boat launch area here. This is the existing parcel that where the request is being that you're looking at today. And this is a view just showing the proximity to the existing parking. So it's just across the street. This is a concept plan that was submitted by the applicant. In one of the conditions as we move forward on this item, you'll see that they have to submit a preliminary site plan for review and approval by the county. There was a pre-application meeting held mid-December of last year, approximately a year ago. I think it was the 17th, so it's, yeah, no, a year and 2 days ago. We are recommending approval with conditions. The conditions, condition number 1 is very standard. It's just basically limited to the site plan shown on the application. Condition number 2 prohibits overnight parking, except when the vehicle in operation is unsafe due to driver impairment, in which case the vehicle shall be removed by no later than 12 noon the following day. The idea behind this condition is that if someone is attending a wedding or reception or whatever at the clubhouse, and perhaps they have a little bit too much to drink or whatever, that person is responsible by calling a ride share or asking a friend to take that person home, in which case that vehicle may stay overnight, and that person has to take the vehicle by 12 noon the following day. Following condition is storage of vehicles, including passenger vehicles, recreational vehicles, and commercial vehicles, shall be prohibited. This conditional use shall not authorize the use of the subject site for a boat, commercial, or recreational vehicle storage lot. Following condition, as I stated, they have to submit a preliminary site plan for review and approval prior to development of the property. Following condition is your regular condition regarding the potential for revocation of the conditional use if there's a violation of the conditions of approval. And the last condition is your standard condition asking that the applicant acknowledge the conditions. And again, staff is recommending approval with conditions as stated.
Okay, I noticed there's already a parking area on there.
There is. It's actually in your finding of fact number, let's see, let me go back to the agenda. Finding of fact number 8, on November 27, 2018, the owner applicant was issued a Pasco County ordinance violation warning notice for site development without first obtaining a site development permit. And we're here to rectify that issue. At some point in time, and that's actually stated in the pre-application meeting notes, and I'm sure the applicant can speak to this, is that they were not exactly sure what they wanted to use this lot for. So there were some different ideas, and the final decision, I suppose they have to speak to a board and to members, was to turn it into an overflow parking area because of the gap in parking that they had across the street.
Okay, so is it foreseen that that parking design is fine, or?
There were comments in the pre-application meeting notes, and they were told the type of buffers that they have to provide. They were also told that if they keep from our stormwater folks, and of course this is going to be handled at the site plan, but from our stormwater folks, they were told that they have to retain and treat water due to the fact that they put in impervious gravel on the property. If they return the lot to a grass parking, they don't have to do that. So there's some things that they have to think about.
Okay. Great. Any questions, Michael?
So, yes, thank you. So Denise, my question is, in the finding of facts number 1, it says that overflow parking for the association, tennis courts, pool, and boat launch area.
Yes.
Is there anticipation of having trucks and trailers there for the boat launch area?
That was not what was presented in the application, but we can ask the applicant that question.
I didn't even know there was a boat launch over there.
Okay. Would you like to come up and respond to that question? If you state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Jim DeFurio. I represent Gulf Landings Association, Inc. My address is 201 East Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, Suite 715. Let me answer that question. The way this is envisioned is that it would be temporary parking. I guess there may be a possibility that there would be a vehicle with a trailer on it parked in there temporarily if it was necessary for overflow parking purposes. I presume that might be the case. I notice in the conditions that the references to storage of vehicles. So obviously, we're not going to have a situation where there's going to be a long-term or overnight parking of any vehicle there. So I can't give the commission right now an absolute assurance that there wouldn't be some kind of a boat or trailer maybe parked in there for a morning or afternoon.
So
I will say,
So let me just walk through that a little bit, which is a concern that it says in the conditions, no overnight parking unless someone needs to be driven home. But so my concern would be someone goes out fishing and, you know, they're going to be out all night and they'll have a vehicle and a trailer there. Are there hours in which that boat launch is allowed to be used, or is it open all the time?
I have to turn to my client for that. May he address this? He's the president of the
You'll have to come up
association.
and state your name and address, please.
Sir, my name is Nicholas Mudry.
You have to speak into the microphone.
5 Jobeth Drive,
I'm
Newport
sorry,
Richey.
if you'd speak into the microphone, because she's
Yes,
got to
sir.
record it.
Oh, beg your pardon. My name is Nicholas Mudry, M-U-D-R-Y. I live at 5415 Jobeth Drive, Newport Richey, Florida, 34652. I am a resident of the community, and I'm on the board of directors for Gulf Landings. Is it possible that, to answer your question, is it possible that that scenario might happen? There is a possibility. The boat launch is open for members. It's a secure boat launch. You have to have a swipe card to use it.
Okay. I mean, do you have that issue now at the clubhouse, people parking overnight and stuff like that?
Occasionally, sir, you will see a party. There's 578 residents in our community, sir.
Right.
1/5 of them are landlocked, not waterfront community. Over 400 residents are. So that is why the developer has the boat launch there for people who lived in condominiums and the townhouses that are not on the water, that have direct access behind their residential unit. It does happen sometimes that either they'll go out early, 3 o'clock in the morning to go fishing, or somebody goes in and they'll take jet skis out to the recreation facilities afforded by Pasco County. And yes, you will occasionally see a boat and a trailer there. We do have a control issue. We do require, our residents are required to have an identification sticker on the trailer that identifies that is actually a resident within the community, sir. Could it possibly happen? Yes, it could.
So I guess, you know, just a concern I have is probably not that big of a concern, but if I was a neighbor right there, it's one thing, I think, a car just to sit overnight. It's another thing, people coming and accessing a boat, you know, a trailer and stuff in the middle of the night with lights and moving about and all that. So if there were maybe a condition that would not be allowed there, you know, as an activity, it might alleviate a problem in the future.
Could you bring up the slide of, could you bring up a slide, please? The colored one. Okay, that one. You don't mind me walking over there?
No,
No, go ahead.
as long as we can hear you.
Okay.
This allows you to point.
On the right-hand side
your pointer.
is the parking lot.
The top round button.
Oops, here, you.
Okay.
On the
You have to take a
right-hand
course
side,
to operate that.
right there, on the right-hand side, there's the 23 parking lots current today, and that is within the meets and bounds of Gulf Landing's property completely. They do use that currently today for evening or early morning assessment, access to it. So we could ask the residents, and I think most of the residents would be acceptable to that if you're before 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, you use the parking lot on the right. After hours, during the day, the one on the left.
Yeah, maybe just a sign on this proposed lot, saying no overnight
Correct,
boat parking, or trailer parking, or anything of that nature.
correct.
It makes sense they would park over there anyways, but I'm just concerned for the neighbor there to have lights and stuff like that coming in the middle of the night.
To the left there's 2 residential units, and that's very understandable. You would not want that to happen.
Right.
Or to hear the vehicle or a truck. But on the right-hand side, we could put out that if you were using it for early morning or late evening, that you would have to use the parking lot on the right and not the one on the left. And because the way that it was developed, Gulf Landings is not centrally located. It's over 6,300 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's because everybody, it's developed on the waterfront. But that could be we could easily enforce that with a sign saying, early morning parking, you have to use the one on the right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mike?
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
Just one more comment. With regard to who the applicant is a homeowners association. So, and it owns this lot. So because it's a homeowners association, it can't develop the lot. It can't build a house on it. It's not within its corporate powers. So it has to, the use it has as a matter of corporate law is relatively limited. And using this as a temporary parking lot is really a reasonable use for a homeowners association, really. Otherwise, it probably has no use at all.
Did they also own the adjoining lot, or no?
No,
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I think you had some input there for us. You'd state your name and address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Al Schonert, and I live at 4344 Sand Dollar Court, and I belong to the Gulf Landings Association. Before I get started, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. That's
Thank
number
you.
one.
You too.
So what I'm here for is the following. Something just came up here as far as the boat and so forth. Our community is a lot smaller than Gulf Harbors. And Gulf Harbors has many more boats than we do, many more residents. And all they do is they drop their boat off and they leave. There is no place for them to park their vehicle or their RV. They have to do whatever they have to do off-site. So why I'm here is basically to let you know I do not want history to repeat itself. When I heard what this gentleman had to say, there's an occasional this or occasional RV, trust me, they don't live there. Every board member on the Gulf Landings Association does not live. If you'd be so kind, Denise, to bring that back up, that road, and let me just show you, that's a bad picture, if you don't mind, if I can approach. This is basically a picture of the lot currently today. The asphalt is basically off, and you can see how pretty the lot looks, and these homes that are right next to it, okay? And so what's going to amount to is what happened, let me just repeat, say, I don't want history to repeat itself.
Let me just ask you to hold up until you get in front of that microphone.
Yes. When I say I don't want history to repeat itself, 2018, the lot was bought by the homeowners association, and then from there, we went through this very same routine. It's going to be used for overflow parking. Well, again, the members of the homeowners association, they don't live there. They don't see there. I live there. I live right on that road that you see there. I live about 3 houses out on the water. So I guarantee you, when you go through there on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you see RVs parked there, trailers parked there, commercial trucks parked there. They have our homeowners association has no control over it because we have a great manager that takes care of our property, but she's gone Friday afternoon, she's gone Saturday, Sunday, and if we have a holiday, Monday, she's gone. She has no control of it. She does a great job, but no control of it. The homeowner folks on the board, they don't live there, so they don't see it. We have 100 homes there, guys, ladies, and we see this every day. We drive through this, 5 times a day. So what's going to happen is the following. Somebody just said, occasional this and occasional that. We don't want no occasionals over there. if I'm all for, basically, or we are all for, I could speak for the rest of the residents, if you want to do overflow parking, great. If you have a wedding or whatever the case may be, fine. You have overflow parking, and that's it. If you want to do it overnight parking, great. If somebody had a little bit too much to drink or whatever have you, I can see that. But it's not going to happen. I guarantee you, unless you have signs there saying, hey, there is no overnight parking, there is no trailer, there's no RV, there's no trucks or anything else there, because we don't want our property value to go down, okay? I can't, if you can imagine driving down 19, you see some of these trailer parks and everything else there, it just looks just absurd, basically. And this is exactly what's going to happen here. History will repeat itself. The only way we could do this is having signs there, and if they don't obey the signs, we could make conditions there saying if it's not obeyed, we take the permit out and go back to plan, back to plan one. But now, on one of these narratives there, it indicates, check this here, it says parcel would be sodded. You think about it for a second, if that's sodded, okay, and you use that for a parking lot, as it's expected to be used for, that's gonna look absolutely terrible when the mud is all kicked up, the grass is off, and it's just driving through there, and if there's no cars there parked at all you're gonna see is a big mud pile there. Does that make sense? And so, I hope I make my point clear there, but it's not gonna be a very pretty sight. Again, all I'm asking, if I'm all for it, I'm sure all the residents on our island there, over 100 homes, we don't mind it being a parking lot for overflow parking for weddings and things like that. But we do not want it to turn into anything, not even an occasional RV, a boat, or whatever have you. And as far as the boats and everything else, they could drop it off and leave. Again, we're smaller than Gulf Harbors, okay? All I'm asking you to do, if you approve this, please put strong conditions saying if you break these conditions, basically speaking, we're gonna, take this request out and go back to leaving it as R4 piece of property.
Okay, very good. I just want to make sure you understand that we don't approve how they develop it. We approve whether they can develop it, and so into a parking lot. So
Right.
as far as whether they put grass on it or stones on it or whatever, that's a different department. So,
Okay,
but
I understand that,
we can
sir. I
control-
fully understand that,
We can
but-
control who parks on it.
Correct. All I'm asking you to do, if cars are gonna be parked there for overflow parking, 2 thumbs up on that. But I'm just gonna suggest to you, it's not gonna be enforceable. I guarantee you, on a 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend, there will be RVs there, there will be boats there, because nobody pays attention to the signs, and they just do it. The same thing happened this time last year. And so, and that's when the planning board came over, they saw it, and they actually closed the whole thing down. That's what I don't want to, that's what we don't want to happen.
Well, also, we have to be careful not to infringe on their rights too, because using that logic, we might not be able to have any parking downtown because somebody might park incorrectly. So, you can't use it on that basis. We can restrict the use, and it can be, that use can be enforced, but we can't just blanketly say you can't use it. So, that's my opinion. And we'll get the feeling of the board here in a minute. So, anyway,
I want to say is, I just want to make sure.
Excuse
Say
me.
again?
We've given you your 3 minutes, so I don't want to drag this out too far.
Okay. I just want to enforce the
Okay?
fact that please use it for parking
understand
only.
what your concern is. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay.
Do you want to have,
Would you like
applicant.
to rebut anything, or?
May I say a word or two?
Sure.
I don't want to take too much time at all. Thank you. Yeah, this whole issue of enforcement, obviously, it's a conditional use permit that's subject to revocation. So if the association is delinquent in its abilities to enforce the conditions, the conditional use can be terminated. I think, too, there's going to be a process by which the site plan has to be submitted and approved. And I think in that site plan, I think various mediation improvements can be made. There can be buffers and fences and that sort of thing to reduce whatever negative effect might occur. I think we have to be very careful, though, about fine-tuning the parking. Why do I say that? I can just imagine having, for example, a situation where on a Saturday there's a wedding taking place and somebody pulls up to launch their boat, but there's no parking in the existing parking lot. And they need to possibly launch their boat and park their trailer on this particular lot. How are we to manage that? There has to be some reasonableness and ability.
Well, there would be a sign that says no trailer parking. That's how you manage it.
Yeah.
And
But does that serve,
that's
does
what
that
Mr.
serve
Cox
the
was talking
purpose?
about.
See, what we're trying to accomplish is overflow parking. So if a trailer happens to be that which is causing the parking to overflow, can't park there, we've lost we've lost the purpose of this. Part of this is a safety problem. As the county has indicated, the capacity of the clubhouse is 120 persons. When there's a wedding and there's more than the 22 vehicles or 25 vehicles that need to park, they park on the street, and that's a problem. So I think we have to make sure that there's enough flexibility in this so that the purpose of this occasional use can be met fully. Let's see. My client wanted me to emphasize that the last speaker lives approximately 2 intersections away from this particular lot and is between 750 and 1,000 feet away. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, were there any questions from the applicant or anyone else from the county? Any comments?
The one comment I would have is, I think Mr. Cox brought it up, is the parking of the boat trailers. I think what they indicated that in the very beginning was a process where you wanted to have overflow parking, and you kept using examples, weddings or events that you were holding at the clubhouse, and therefore you needed this additional parking for automobiles. And that I can understand. But the other gentleman, from what I understood, is his concern is not the automobiles, it's the boat, or the boat's trailers that are the issue. And your presentation in the beginning, that is the director, and I apologize, I didn't catch your name. You indicated that the boat trailers is an occasional event, and the way the other individual, the resident out there, indicated there was more than an occasional event. So therefore, it's kind of like, how do we split this thing down the middle to get what you really want, which is overflow parking for automobiles, for events that are held at the clubhouse? And how do you eliminate the concern of some residents out there? It's the boat trailers. I think the only way you could do that is by just no parking boat trailers, except from that one location you already identified for the boat, near the boat ramp area. Unless I'm misunderstanding something here.
Mike, Roberto, any comments?
I mean, the comment I would just say is that, I mean, this is a waterfront community, so boat trailers is going to be part of living in a waterfront community. My concern, I guess, is just it's the middle of the night movement of boat trailers and disturbing the people that live right there and all that. I personally wouldn't have an issue with a truck and trailer being parked there, but I wouldn't want to see it there overnight. So I don't know if they can designate certain spots in other areas specifically for boat trailer parking. That may be a way to alleviate the overall concern, or just simply just put a sign, require in the conditions a signage saying that there's either no boat trailer parking on this particular piece of property, or there needs to be signage put into the conditions saying no overnight parking, period. It says that no overnight parking, or overnight parking is prohibited, so it says that. But you know, a motorist is not going to know that unless it says it on the property.
Okay. Roberto, do you have anything?
Answer your question.
I don't think we have a question, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you, though. Did you have a question, Michael? No? No. All right, well, if there are no questions, does somebody have a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Public hearing's closed. Can't take any more comment.
I'll move for approval, providing that language is added to condition 2 for the requirement of signage stating the prohibition to overnight parking.
A second.
I'll second that.
I think we have a second.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
third.
Okay, so you're prohibiting overnight parking of any vehicles.
Right.
Right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of the
To
motion?
be clear, but you're leaving in the language that says if they're impaired, they can park. You're leaving that language, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how you put that on a sign, but, you know,
Well, I just wanted to, because you guys are saying
yeah.
slightly different things.
Yeah,
Just wanna make
yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll make sure we make it clear. And are you talking about motorhomes as well?
Well, 2 applies to all vehicles, the way I read it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
The only exception is the driver impaired vehicle.
Okay. All right. And what you're saying, Michael, is we need to just make sure there's signage on the property indicating that,
Yeah, I think if you're going to put signage, you need to put up there, there's no parking overnight, period. So if somebody's getting driven home, they need to move their car before they do that. I guess, I mean, how else you state that? Do you have any recommendations, Denise, how to word that?
Well,
David?
what I was thinking is that to not commingle things, I was thinking that perhaps that signage condition should be a standalone condition and not adding it to condition 2. Of course, willing to listen to the planning commission, obviously. Just thinking of adding maybe a condition number 3, a new condition 3, stating that the owner applicant shall install signage on the subject parcel stating, and in open quotation, overnight parking is prohibited, close quotation.
I think that works. As far as the impaired driver, presumably whoever's running the event could let them know. I mean, you don't have to put that on the sign.
Right, that's
Mhm.
my point, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever's running the event can say, hey, you don't have to move, no, you can leave it there if you're drunk.
Mhm.
yeah. That would be a hard thing to put on a sign.
I don't think you want to put it on the sign, but you want to encourage that behavior.
I do want to say that going out to the actual location, there are numerous signs on the other parcel, so I'm sure that there probably won't be a problem with putting signs on this parcel. 'Cause there's signs everywhere, on trees, on posts, on stating that you've got to have a sticker to park here, and that you have to do this, and you can't do that, and you can't bring in skates, and there's just signage everywhere, so I don't think putting up this sign will be an issue.
Okay. All right, so
So you're going to add it as
As
part
a
of-
separate condition,
Okay.
you want to
So,
make, restate
duly
your
noted.
motion?
Yep.
standalone.
So that's your motion?
Yes, sir.
Put that out of condition?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the second, Roberto?
A second.
Okay. All right, so is there any further discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, just one observation. This is a concept plan, Denise, that's proposed for.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
very conceptual, yes. They have
Okay.
to do a preliminary site plan, so they'll have to go through the full process.
Okay, and it's showing 2 gates on the property as is already, so just as observation is that it appears to be the applicant's
It's,
ability to restrict access to that lot too, so,
yes.
okay.
Okay, anything else, Chris?
No, sir.
No? Okay, so we had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, one item before we adjourn. So on PC 1, all the maps were in one file. and PC2, they're all in separate files. Would it be too hard to put them all in one, so you can just scroll through the maps and easily, instead of going back and forth between
Not at all. We
files?
can definitely do that for planning commission.
Thank you.
Good suggestion.
I'll move for adjournment.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Favor? Carries.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's right. I was a week early.
Yes.